So I did that video the other day about bass fishing history. A lot of folks seem to like that. I'm going to do more. I've got stories. I don't have the stories a lot of guys have, but I like to tell stories. If I have to embellish them a little bit to make it interesting, I probably won't do that because I got good stories. I was going to do another video of a follow-up to that one. I was going to do some things I think I missed. And this will touch on it from a different direction because I got this sent to me yesterday on Facebook, and it's probably this morning, and we've been gone all day. It's probably all over the internet by now, okay? Clark Wendlandt, he started tournament bass fishing, pro fishing, when I was trying to get started with B.A.S.S back in the mid-90s. Good fisherman. I've only met him a couple times, but he's a dang good fisherman, dang good old school guy. Hope this thing is keeping that windy, because it's windy as heck. It's supposed to be working. Anyway, Clark wrote a letter after the St. Lawrence tournament the other day, B.A.S.S tournament, wrote a letter to Bass. And I'm going to go through that letter. It's awful windy. I'm going to go to my truck. I'm going to do this in my truck. I'll be right back. It's too windy. Edit. Sitting up here in this pavilion at a lawn tramp on trim, and it's just 20-mile-an-hour winds. I don't know how good this mic works. I did make my little remote mics work the other day. I played with them, but I don't have them with me. The thing called Wi-Fi is what makes them work. Y'all ever hear that? Clark wrote this letter to B.A.S.S. He put it out for everybody to read. Maybe everybody's seen it by now, but this is a very intense anti-FFS letter. What this means, y'all, a full-time B.A.S.S pro and not no rank beginner, a guy's been there and done it for a long time, along with a bunch of others, are starting to take a stance against FFS. There's just no arguing it, y'all. It's not right. And all these old guys are getting beat by it. That's why I don't like it. You're darn right they don't like it because they're getting beat by it. I have not read this. Look, guys, this is single-spaced. Can y'all see this? Single-spaced. 1 page. 2 page. Almost a third of another page. I ain't read it all because it's just too good. I'm not going to read it all to you either. If I can provide a link to it or something, I will. It's on Facebook where I got it. So, Clark basically says he's done with it. He don't like the FFS. He talks about his history with B.A.S.S. It threatens the integrity of what true bass fishing is. That's one line I look down and see right away. It would be a mistake to continue to allow FFS in professional events. It threatens the integrity. People follow sports because they're difficult. Though we have a passion for a sport, we can't do it at the same level as the best can. So we appreciate it, we watch it, want to follow it. We marvel at the skills of participants and often dream about having the ability to do it on their level. Now, he's not just talking about bass fishing here. In any sport, it takes a certain amount of God-given talent, dedication, and years of hard work. And that's what it boils down to. Guys like me have done this forever, watching guys out there that have no time at all. And yeah, we're getting our butts whooped by it. But so the fish are getting their butts whooped too. That's fair enough, isn't it? At the St. Lawrence tournament, the majority of guys who did well fished on the lake. On Lake Antoria, there's no current, so the fish cannot hide. The smallmouth are big. Now, I read this part. What he goes on to say real quick, he did not cast to a bass all week. It wasn't at least 3 pounds. He could see it. He can tell how big. Smallmouth sent back a super strong signal, I guess, better than largemouth. Whatever. He didn't throw to a bass that's at 3 pounds. That's not fishing. And he says that. That's not fishing. I'm not having to misquote him. He says it all. I can literally see every single bass can be caught within 260 feet of my boat. It's not hard to catch those bass. Now, he says the bass wise up to this. It will get harder, but people just have to learn how to do it. Frankly, it's not fun. It's not exciting. But if I want to compete in the St. Lawrence River, I have to do it. Most people watching this are getting this. If you don't get it, good for you. Don't put me down for it. This comes from a true B.A.S.S. pro who has done this for a long time. B.A.S.S. formed a committee to investigate the use of FFS, but in all due respect, it is a flawed committee. On the entire committee, there's like one person who has devoted his entire professional life to pro bass fishing, and one or two others have been in the sport for 20 plus years. You can't really understand how this technology undermines the sport unless you do it at my level. True fishermen have used it and understood it, don't think it's good for the sport. That is whose input should matter. The pro fishing fan is someone who loves fishing, tries to tournament fish himself, and is intrigued by how hard it is to go all over the country and catch bass consistently at every lake. That is our fan. Now what he's talking about here is how B.A.S.S. is losing viewers, losing members. That's what that's going to. I've not talked to one fan who is in favor of FFS for our events. I haven't even read all this myself, y'all. I'm serious. It's going to sound like he's whining to people. He said, I had a legitimate shot at winning. But he wouldn't have fished for the fish that he saw on that live scope if he didn't have live scope. He wouldn't even try it. He wouldn't have known it was there. I really should have read this whole thing first. He says that he was fired from Garmin before the season started because of the stance he had taken on FFS. I have took no public stance, just lobbied behind the scenes to get rid of the threat to fishing. I was told that is why I was fired. Here's the thing though, it's what I believe is the right thing for the sport. Many anglers are still not taking a stance because they believe this will happen to them. They'll lose their job, they'll lose their sponsorship. Understandably, almost every angler looks at this issue from the view of how it affects them. At this point in my life and career, I'm not looking at this from the perspective of what's best for my career. I truly believe I'm looking at this only from the point of view that is best for the sport. Seriously, y'all? FFS throws all of this out. The history, the great anglers of the past, anglers who spent their entire lives trying to figure out how to catch bass and turn it into something you can learn in 5 months. 5 months. That comes from Clark. I think he knows. The sport has been reduced to being dominated by a few anglers who have committed to doing nothing but scope. It seems so obvious to me. But what I must be missing is that it's only obvious if you spent time in the boat and really seen it in action. It is so inherently different than anything that's ever happened in fishing. It's not even the same thing. It's not old school versus new school. It's fishing versus scoping. It's fishing to try and figure out how and why to catch bass versus putting a troll motor in the water to see if there are any around. That's all y'all need to see. So I'll try to figure out a way to link everything. I'll put on my Facebook account where y'all can see it. My DW Fishing LLC account. Y'all need to look at that. Yeah, this is Clark Winlet. This is no rank beginner. It's no guy like me that never had anything to do with the sport for real. It's a guy that knows what he's talking about. Check this thing out. I'll put a link to my Facebook page with it and let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. Solarback glasses. Look at the link in that description too. God bless, guys. We'll talk at you later.